In the next hour, I will spend time on the software group in EMEA. We spend some time on 2000, just to recap what we have done by region and by brand. And after that, we will have the 2001 to set up our priorities, the software group priorities for 2001. I will ask the help of the brand leader. So the first thing I want to do is to introduce them to you. We have the 4 brands with us. For AIM, David Stokes. For data management, Jürgen Gallmann. For Lotus, Fritz Flashman. And for Tivoli, Agostino Dosi. Okay, software group in EMEA 2000. I want to recap quarter by quarter. As you probably know, I took over this job in September, so in 2000, the first part of the year has been managed by Massimo Bonciani. So I want to share with him what we have done quarter by quarter. In first quarter, we were more or less on target, and Massimo was good, was okay. In second quarter, we had a good quarter, and Massimo was happy. Maybe you don't see that, but was very happy. I can tell you that he was very happy, but he's not an easy person to be really over delighted, so it was difficult to have him really smiling. And let me spend a few words with Massimo. Massimo, as you probably know, ran EMEA for almost 2 years. He took over Dan Lautenbach's responsibility at the end on 98 and moved to his new responsibility in August 2000. In 2 years, he was very successful. So I invite Massimo to stand up. And please join me on a round of applause. Okay, I took over the 1st of September. They told me, big job, but we are in a good shape. I worked hard in September to understand the different brands. As you know, I was running Tivoli. And in September, in third quarter, we screwed up. We missed in every region, in every brand, so it was really a bad quarter. But I can summarize in this way. So in October, we started to do hard work, to go back to the basic, to manage the pipeline, and to ensure that in every situation we had the right people, the right understanding of the sales cycle, the right sense of urgency, and at the end of the day we had a wonderful fourth quarter that I summarize in this way. Okay. Okay, to recap the performance in the fourth quarter and the year 2000. In fourth quarter, we overachieved revenue by $50 million, so we achieved 104% on budget for the revenue. And as you know, we are measured on revenue and profit. In terms of profit, we overachieved the profit target, and we delivered 120% of the quarterly budget. So it was an excellent quarter, and it was across the board. Full year, at the end of the day, was a good quarter. I'm sorry that I show 99%. In reality, it was 99.5 in terms of performance. So we missed, out of $4 billion, $30 million in revenue. So you can argue if I'm smart or not, but this is the reality. We missed by $30 million. But in terms of profit, in any case, we overachieved the year. So we delivered 107% in terms of profit. So in summary, I would like to consider the 2000 a good year, with an excellent fourth quarter. Okay, let's see our performance. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this chart, but I want to recap what you have done by region, what you have done by brand, by platform, and the last chart, you already showed this chart from Mike Lowry, so I will not spend a lot of time. If you look at the top left box, our performance by region, in total at EMEA level, we grew 10%, so 2-digit, almost matching the industry. And we had 4 regions growing 2 digits, above 10%. Specifically, I want to mention Nordics. Nordics grew 19%, not distributed, total business. If you move on the right on top, you can see the performance by brand. including the solution, that is another brand that is not represented here. Excluding Tivoli, everyone achieved or overachieved the revenue, and I want to specifically mention data. This number I refer to distributed. On distributed, data increased year on year by 50%, 50. Good. The only brand that was struggling is Tivoli. As you know, it was up to August, I was managing Tivoli, so I share the responsibility with Agostino. And I think that was a disappointing year. But to put things in perspective, if you look at the traditional competitor like CA, IBM, they had even a worse year. So all in all, was a disappointing year, but also the system management market is changing. Moving to the next box, if you look at the split by platform, we still have, our business is still heavily dependent on System 390, but on distributed, we added another 2 points. So today, we generate, in terms of revenue, 57% on System 390 and 43% on distributed. To give you an idea, when we started Software Group in 95, 96, the share was 90% System 390 and 10% distributed. So we are moving versus a balance. This is important because the distributed industry is growing faster than the System 390 industry. And the last chart is showing that in every brand, we beat the competition in terms of growth. And we are, in EMEA, market leader in every brand. So to summarize, 2000, from a financial standpoint, I recap in this way. Overall, we had a good performance. We had excellent growth in 2 areas, data management overall and WebSphere. We won some significant deals in terms of ELA. To give you an idea, we closed last year 88 ELAs, 2 times more than in 1999. And I mentioned 4 larger transactions. HSBC, that we already covered. Barclays was another major ELA in North. We closed UBS in Switzerland, another big deal, and Unicredito in South region. We also, I think that I can represent my boss, Dan, saying that we were a key contributor to the overall Software Group performance. So if you look at the total performance in Software Group, I can say that EMEA was a significant contributor to the overall performance. We also started to grow in non-traditional area, and this I go back to what Mike explained. It's important for us to grow in new area in order to have additional growth. And I mentioned 2 specific areas. We closed a very large deal with Siemens. Siemens last week had a press release. We closed a multi-million dollar transaction on e-commerce. So all the business strategy solution in Siemens will be based on our middleware. And we started to see significant deals in the pervasive area. We closed France Telecom and Sonera, 2 big transactions. So we are seeing the momentum coming from new area and new application area. This in terms of financial result. I also want to spend some time on non-financial result, mentioning 2 things. First, clearly we are a sales organization and we spend a lot of time recognizing and giving credit to the salespeople. But I can tell you that after 3rd quarter, in 4th quarter, I saw everyone in every function. I don't want to mention specific function to avoid to forget someone, but everyone was fully dedicated with the right sense of urgency. And if we had a great quarter, it's because each of you in this room was really dedicated and devoted to be successful. So I want just to say my personal thanks to every one of you for the excellent piece of work you have done, and I think that you deserve an applause. Last point, we spend the time on teamwork. Teamwork is key. Teamwork is key within Software Group EMEA, Software Group Worldwide, and with IBM. In Software Group EMEA, we have to work much more together. For instance, when we sell a WebSphere solution, we should include the data management solution. When we sell WebSphere, always the customer buys a database. Still, they buy too much Oracle, so we need to work more. And we will do something in terms of motivation in order to be sure that we are moving in this direction. Now, this is the recap of 2000 from my standpoint. I will now ask each leader to spend some time to recap the 2000 brand by brand, and then I will go back to 2001. So we start in alphabetic order, so no one can see that a brand is better from the other. So from AEM is the first one. David?
Thank you, Maurizio. Hello, everybody. AIM in 2000, what a great year. But before we get into the numbers, I'd like to cast my mind back 12 months. And we set out with two major goals for the AIM brand in 2000. First, we wanted to take our workstation software revenue from a small but rapidly growing base to more sustainable, consistent quarterly growth across all regions. And also, we wanted to be a more significant contributor to the total software group revenues in EMEA. Second, we wanted to execute ahead of our plan on the growth cases that we'd put in place for MQ Series and WebSphere. So how did we do? Well, we had strong growth across all regions. And I really must point out the performance in SEMA and Nordic. Here we had explosive growth. In the North region, we overachieved our plan after extremely strong growth in both 1998 and 1999. But importantly, we had good double-digit growth every quarter in every region, and we contributed over 30% of the total software group distributed revenue. So that's a regional view. Let's have a look at things from a product standpoint. In WebSphere, we had a blowout year. We grew at over 4 times the market. We were way above our most optimistic estimates. And I want to thank everybody for the tremendous work that you did to grow WebSphere in 2000. But we make a lot of headlines around WebSphere. But our largest revenue contributor was the MQ Series portfolio. And here, we've established MQ as a de facto standard for messaging middleware. And on top of this, we grew MQ Series Integrator at over 150%. On tools, the growth looks a little lower. But hidden behind this is the fact that now Visual Age for Java is a leading tool for e-business in the European market. So that's a product standpoint, but where do we now stand in terms of share? We are the clear #1 in the market, as you can see from the bottom left-hand chart. And we took share in year 2000 in the face of some very aggressive competition, particularly from our public enemy #1, BEA. But also we faced new competition from traditional players, such as Sun, Oracle, and Microsoft. And on the other hand, we saw new competitors, aggressive niche players, such as Vitria, STC, and webMethods. But our share gain would not have been possible without the great job that our AIM marketing colleagues did to create such a strong and positive brand identity for WebSphere. So that's the numbers. Now let's look at some highlights. First, I'd like to recognize the tremendous job you all did in establishing such a strong base for MQ and WebSphere in the integrated and aligned accounts, particularly in the finance industry, where we saw some of our largest transactions, including the largest ever WebSphere deal worldwide at UBS for over $20 million. I can't forget the other sectors. We also made some good breakthroughs in other industries, with deals such as Air France, Volkswagen, and IKEA. Second, while we have a lot more work to do, we've had some good partner momentum. We grew at over 150% in GMB, and we recruited over 900 new business partners to the WebSphere platform. Our relationships with influencers are also beginning to pay off and deliver real business value. I mentioned already the great work that our marketing team did in 2000, but it bears repeating. We truly have a great level of noise around our brand, and we're set up for a tremendous 2001. And finally, we welcomed over 200 new people to the team in sales, pre-sales, and services. And it's great to see many of our new team members overachieving their targets in their first year at IBM. Like Maurizio, I too was also grateful to our technical teams who played such a critical role in closing some of our biggest transactions. And particularly in a year where we introduced many new products into our portfolio and we went through some transitions in our product line. So, yesterday I spent some time to thank the AIM team. But today I have to thank the extended team for helping make year 2000 such a great year. Without the whole team working together, the SAMs, the sectors, the IT architects, our marketing community, truly our performance in 2000 would not have been possible. So that's AIM in 2000. Now, Jürgen, I know you've got a great story to tell around data management, so let's hear it.
Hey. David, thank you, and congratulations to the big success you had with the team and the market momentum. So let me tell you about data management in 2000. And first talk about the competition. It was a challenging year for the competition. They struggled, failed to make their numbers, and I believe they cannot afford anymore their homes and boats and all that stuff. We had momentum. We had passion really to win in that marketplace, and we hit especially the company of Larry Ellison hard. Now let me take you through the accomplishments that we had in 2000. Look to this scorecard. We grew in the distributed area, the business year over year, 49%. 49%. And look at this. Like David mentioned it, Nordics, way above 100, Central, way above 100, and this was a large effort, and I really need to thank these guys really to make that happen. Now, if we move a little more in the analysis of the revenue stream, where it comes from, we have three segments. Content management grew year over year 47%. Business intelligence, which is a very hot place to be, grew 57%. And our database business, the transaction-based business, grew over 60%. Now, how are we doing against the competition? And the chart in the lower left corner describes that. The market grew in EMEA, based on the latest DataQuest numbers, grew roughly about 20%. Now, we grew 49%, more than double of that growth. And our hardest competition, Oracle, only grew 15%. What does that mean? They are losing market share. They are losing market share against us. That brings me to that nice pie chart there. This pie chart, also based on the latest DataQuest numbers, describes we are the number one in this marketplace. We have over 35% market share, and we really hit the competition hard. Now, let's move over to the key highlights of 2000, who made that happen. In the enterprise accounts, there were many deals that we made, but there was one I need to mention, which was the Deutsche Telekom. We closed at the Deutsche Telekom the largest workstation transaction ever in our data management history. $35 million. It was a great win against Informix and Oracle, and it was a big teamwork with IGS, with GBIS, and the whole technical sales community. So this was outstanding. The next part which is really our future, and it's really the momentum that we need to take there, is at the channels. We grew the part of the channels business from 10% in 99 up to 30% in 2000. So clearly it indicates we have momentum there. And it's also very interesting that now a third of our workstation revenue is associated with influencers. So we really see that also pulling off, really taking the momentum. Now, David also mentioned the great efforts that the marketing team has done for AIM. I can say the same for data management. 1,300 press articles in the 4 major countries means 100 articles in favor for us every month in the press. This is outstanding momentum, and thank you guys for this great job. And now finally, the most important piece, the people and the skills. We have hired over 100 people from our competition. Really, they said, I want to join that winning team. You're on the right track. I want to be there. And the other second piece, which is also very important to us, and without we would not have the success, our technical sales folks spent over 150,000 hours. These are 18,000 days in helping to close the business. So this was a great 2000, and you will hear a little more about the 2001 in a minute. So now, let's hear about the success that we have in Lotus, and I want to hand over to my colleague, Fritz Fleischmann. Fritz?
Okay. Great. Thank you, Jürgen. I think that was really a great year for you and your team. So now I'm very pleased to share with you the results of Lotus in the year 2000. And I can tell you it was really a great year. It was a good year. So let's look at the scorecard. First of all, the revenue. We achieved a revenue of $552 million, which is 102% of plan, and a year-on-year growth of 7%. So I think that deserves a big hand. Actually, if we look at the growth of 7%, I have to say it's a little bit moderate. But we understand the dynamics, why it is. First of all, the messaging and collaboration market, and this is still the biggest portion of our revenue, is slowing down. And as you see, we did there a 6% growth. While the emerging markets like knowledge management and e-learning, they are growing a lot. And if you look at our revenue, but it's still a small portion, we grew there 55% and 155%. So the challenge for the year 2001 is clear. We have to grow these segments very fast to come back to a double-digit growth again. Now let's have a look at the regional performance. I'm very pleased with the performance of the Central region. It's the largest region in EMEA, and they grew by 11%, and they made their plan. So, great performance. But the absolutely stars were the Southern region and the Nordic region. They both overachieved their plan, and they grew both 24%. So, big hand to them. If you look at West, it seems to be that they had a problem because the numbers show a decline of minus 25%. But I have to mention something. They got a hit of more than $20 million in revenue reversals, due to accounting issues which went back to 99 and 98. Without that hit, if we take that away, they would have grown 25%. So also a good performance. Let's move to the market share. We are very proud of our market share because over the last 5 years, we have outperformed Microsoft every year. And at the end of the quarter 3, we have a market share in EMEA of 47% versus Microsoft 28%. I think this is a real great performance. And I'm sure at the end of the year 2000, when the new IDC numbers are coming out, and they will come out, I think, in the middle of February, we will look even better because we had a great Q4. And then look at the seats. We could grow the seats in 1 year from about 23 million seats in Notes and Domino to about 33 million seats. So it's clear that Notes and Domino is an industry standard, that we have a huge base to work on. Let's look at the achievements, at the main achievements in the year 2000. First, I think we were able to launch a lot of extended products in the messaging and collaboration space, like Same Time, which is real-time messaging, like wireless offerings based on web technology, like Quick Place, which is a collaborative environment at the web, and like ASP offerings. And we could place these offerings at very large enterprises like Barclays Bank, like Nokia, like Ericsson, like Telefonica, like Telecom Italia. Second, there was a lot of mind share in the year 99 and a lot of hype about knowledge management and e-learning. But we couldn't sell it. But in the year 2000, we really could place big deals in the enterprises in KM and e-learning. And examples are a large KM project at Daimler Chrysler and also a large e-learning project at Philips. Third, we overachieved the plan in the channel organization. The channel organization achieved 104% of plan. They grew 4%. So good performance there. I think with the new distributed channel and marketing organization of IBM, there is still much more potential now to grow in this segment. We had a great year in professional services. LPS, Lotus Professional Services, is a very important part of our organization. We make something like, and it's different from country to country, 30 to 40% of our revenue in this space. So, and they had a great year. They made 104% of plan, and they grew 16% year on year. And last but not least, we overachieved the operating margin, and I'm very proud, and my team is very proud of that, because we achieved 103% of plan, but we could grow an incredible 193% over the last year. So it's the first time in Lotus that we really have delivered a significant profit to the IBM company. And that deserves also, I think, a big applause. So all in all, I have to say it was a very good year for Lotus. I would like to thank my team and all the people who have supported Lotus, and I'm looking forward, of course, to a year like that. So thank you to all, and thanks a lot for the good performance. So, and now I want to hand over to my colleague from Tivoli, Agostino Tosi.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Fritz. Good morning to everybody. First of all, let me congratulate all my colleagues for the strong performance that they had in the 2000, two-digit growth, outstanding performance. Unfortunately, today I don't have a so nice story to tell you about Tivoli, as we used in the past. Tivoli in 2000, for us, was a difficult year. You face a new market, changing in the marketplace. And at the end, we grew, but only one digit. And for a two-digit growth company, growing only one digit is disappointing. Let's see what happened. After 3 years of two-digit growth, we closed the 2000 with a 5% total revenue growth. And this was the result of a very weak first quarter, a solid second one, a disaster, and a cosmic disaster, a catastrophic third quarter, but an outstanding fourth quarter that was the best quarter in the Tivoli story and allowed us to close with a plus in the market. All the major part of the region showed positive growth, and I'd like to mention CEMA, 33% growth year on year. It's not only a question of growth, but most important is we started creating Tivoli references in this complex and growing market. Second, Central. 99 for Central region was an outstanding year. Central was able to grow in the 2000, two-digit again, and most important, in the second and the last quarter, the Central region performed better than US. If you are looking at a different area of the Tivoli business, I have to say that System 390 was very good, two-digit growth. Outstanding performance in the TBSM, 200%. Disappointing result in the distributed, flat year on year. And this is the only reason why we are not able to grow 2-digit. We slow down faster than expected in the traditional Tivoli framework business. But we were very good in capturing the new business opportunity. Very strong growth in storage, 100%, very strong growth in security. We continue to increase the channel contribution to our business. We had a 40% growth, but more important, we changed the way to make the business. In the 99, the 75% of the channel contribution was in the high end of the market. In the 2000, the 55% of the contribution was in the middle market, where we want our business partner to play. Look at the market. It was a disappointing year for us. But still, we are maintaining our leadership in EMEA. Our competitors, look at CA, look at BMC, they lost market share. We marginally grow in market share. So at the end, if we had a very difficult year, for our competitor it was even worse. Let's look at the achievement. We continued in the 2000 to close very large and significant deal. But most important, we started changing the way to make business with some of our customers. We started signing strategic deal with some customer, and this customer will use our product integrated in their solution. An example, Winco for the ATM and the teller machine, MCE for the storage area. We started getting and catching the new opportunity in the market. France Telecom, pervasive deal, $60 million overall for IBM. Hardware, services, WebSphere, and $5 million Tivoli. A new internet service provider platform for the pervasive world, for the mobile world. We started to put the basis for the future growth. Ericsson agreement, a joint partnership agreement to develop management solution in the mobile, for the new mobile devices. And you know how it's a tremendous opportunity for us in the mobile world. The great job that the Tivoli services and the support made in the 2000 allowed us to recover a lot of critical situations in our customers, allowing us to sell again in the existing market, to create the basis to sell up and to cross-sell in the future. And I'd like to mention Deutsche Telekom. Deutsche Telekom was the biggest deal in Tivoli, signed 2 years ago, $50 million. We deployed the project, the customer is happy, and the conclusion was that in the last quarter, we closed $10 million new licensing and $8 million new services. So I'd like to thank David Bartlett and his team for what they did in the 2000. Well done, David. So let me summarize. A difficult year, 1-digit growth, but still we are the #1 in terms of revenue contribution for the Tivoli worldwide. And we are the #1 in our marketplace. And these guys are the best basis to approach a successful 2001. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Agostino. Before we move to 2001, it's time for another recognition. It's now the time of the Rookie of the Year. And I have to share with you something. A couple of weeks ago, Dan, my boss, called me saying, Maurizio, I had a good idea. What do you think if we recognize the Rookie of the Year? And I said, okay, yes, I like that. Then I immediately called my operation manager, Deborah, that is British, asking, what does Rocky mean? And I assume that a lot of you has the same question. In summary, is the person that came on board during 2000 and was the smartest and quickest guy to be, or lady to be on board and to deliver results. So it's a great pleasure to me to announce that the Rookie of the Year is a person that joined in summer in Norway, IBM, and in few months, he delivered 160% of quota, immediately catch up and understood the complexity of IBM. He was not only a sales leader, but also he teamed very well with the rest of the team. So he leveraged the same organization, the rest of IBM, and he also showed a great passion for the business. So in few words, a very smart guy. It's my pleasure to announce that Rookie of the Year is Per Lomsdalen from Norway. Please join us on stage.
Now, this is truly a special award to start off your career in IBM and to do that well. So for remembrance of this award, we have a special Rolex watch. Thank you very much. And maybe as importantly, or maybe not, depends on what you need, how about a check for $50,000?
Okay, 2001. I want to share with you what are the key priorities for Software Group in 2001, Software Group EMEA, and again we will go back to the four leaders to briefly try to summarize what are the key priorities by brand. I know it's a long presentation, but I think it's a unique chance to share what is our strategy and what we have to do to be successful. Okay. In the next couple of charts, I don't want you to put too much focus because I understand it's difficult to follow, but I want to give to you some key messages here. That is very simple. If we look at the market, the way the customer and the market are spending money on the distributed middleware software, we can analyze and make this consideration. First of all, the customer are spending roughly 50% of the money in what we call the large account, and 50% in reality is 45% in what we call the SMB, the small medium business. If you look at the growth, the SMB is growing 2 times faster than the large account space. So the first comment is that this is a market 50%, 50%. SMB is growing faster than large account. If you look at the way the provider as us, Oracle or whoever, are fulfilling the revenue to the customer, to the market, this is a market in which, again, roughly 50% is done through direct sales and 50% is done through channels. Channels, I mean distributor, ISV, whatever. If you look at the platform view, 25% of the revenue is on System 390 platform, and this segment of the market is growing around 3%, while 75% of the market is on distributed and is growing around 18%. So in summary, it's a balanced market, 50% large account, 50% SMB, growing faster on SMB. Is the way the provider fulfill is 50% direct, 50% indirect, and is mainly a distributed market that is growing at 2 digits, while System 390 is 1 digit. Now I want to benchmark IBM, to position IBM, in the next chart I want to position IBM towards this market data. And you will see that, as you can expect, we are unbalanced. If you look at our share between large account and SMB, mainly we are focused on large account. 67% of our revenue is on the large account. And as I said, this segment of the market is growing slower. Second, if you look at the way we fulfill 85% of our business directly, so we have a small channel capability. Third, if you look at our split by platform, I recall that the market is 25% on System 390, 75% on distributed. Our share is 57% on System 390, so 2 times the market, and 43% on distributed. And if you look at our growth, we are growing very well on System 390, almost 3 times the market, while on distributed we are growing as the market is growing. Last chart, bottom right. If you look at the way our top competitor in software, this is only related to software, are fulfilling, you can see that the most competitor from this standpoint is CA, that in any case has 3 times the indirect channel capability that we have. So clearly, it's easy to understand that one of the key priority we need to have is to focus more and more on SMB and on the channel space in order to be more successful in this area that is growing hard. This is why Massimo changed job and went to the staff position, just to change the situation. And is clearly, knowing Massimo is driving this effort with the sales approach, with the sales attitude. Next thing he will do is to review opportunity by quarter. What we have to do now, I want to show to you, based on this analysis, what we are doing as a team. This is not only true for IBM, for Software Group in EMEA, but for Software Group worldwide. What we want to do to address this, that is not an issue short term, but as you can imagine, can become an issue long term. So if you go back to my presentation, my position, the way we want to cover the market, from a Software Group standpoint, we are aligning our SAM organization to that. And what we want to do is the following, to be sure that we deliver the right message. First, we want to continue to be as successful as we did in the large account. I'm not delivering the message that we are switching from large account to SMB. So we will continue to invest on large account, that in terms of IBM means the 10 integrated account and the 177 cluster we have in EMEA, where we want to grow the distributor revenue as the market is growing, and we will put in this segment of the market 10.5% additional resources. In total, I can add to my business 400 resources, and in total, we will grow the resources on this space by 9%. But we want to invest more in the SMB space in what we call the territory accounts, and specifically, we want to grow the revenue faster than the market to get, in principle, 1 point of share every year between large account and SMB, and we will invest 30% of additional resources. This is in term of a general game plan. What are the growth areas that we want to drive? Okay, this is the roadmap. Clearly, we want to continue to be successful, as I said. To be successful means that we have to continue to close ELA. My personal target, I don't have a target, my personal goal in 2001 is to close 120 ELA. Last year we closed 88. Second, we have a unique chance to go back to our customer that already signed ELA proposing new products, because in the meantime we enrich our product portfolio. I give an example. We announced recently a set of DB tools on System 390, and these are very powerful, and we can have a lot of additional opportunities in the customer that already signed ELA. We want to have a fast-growing territory GMB, and here we are leading a lot of activities and a lot of effort in order to not only to deploy more resources, but also to develop faster and faster a strong channel organization. Channel through traditional partner like distributor, but mainly also through influencers and through teleweb initiatives. Third, we want to capture more and more new growth opportunity. If you go back to my presentation, Mike covered very well. He addressed the portals, the Linux. So in all this area, we have a lot of opportunity to drive additional revenue. So this is mainly my roadmap to grow and to deliver this year the 11% growth that we are requested to deliver. What are my personal top priorities? What I can do as a leader of this team in order to help you and to help us to be successful? It's very simple. First, we want to continue to have a highly motivated team. And to me, a highly motivated team means three things. One, to offer a competitive compensation. So we will continue to be very aggressive on OTE. We will have OTE at the top of the industry. Second, we put together an outstanding sales plan. This sales plan last year was already good, but we had a couple of issues to be fixed. We fixed the issue, and we added additional accelerator. So we have a sales plan that we benchmark against the competition. We are at the top of the industry. Third, we will continue to have what I call over-the-top incentive. And this I don't have to do anything because Dan is great in that. He thinks, he calls me, I execute. And Maui is a good example. By the way, can I apply for Maui? Last point, teamwork. We spend a lot of time today. I think that through teamwork, we can really go to the next level of growth. It's important that we understand that we run our business by brand, no doubt. So but we have to leverage more and more one brand with the other, and to be sure that at the end of the day, we deliver value to the customer. So this is roughly what are the priorities in 2001. We don't have time to go into detail, but we will have time during the parallel session to spend more time. And more important to me, I want now to ask to each of the leaders of the 4 brands to link to these priorities what are the specific priorities by brand. So again, we will go in alphabetical order. So David, your time to show to us.
Thank you. So first I have a comment to Fritz. It's clear that my colleagues in Data and Tivoli were able to close deals at Deutsche Telekom last year. So it's pretty clear that you and I have got to work together with Domino and WebSphere to do the same in 2001. It's got to be our year. So in 2001, like 2000, again we've set out 2 major goals for the brand. The first is to establish WebSphere as the de facto standard for e-business infrastructure amongst our aligned and integrated accounts and in GMB. But not just the base foundation, MQ Series and WebSphere, but the entire WebSphere software platform that we announced in the summer. So it's probably in the context of that platform that I talk about how we're going to do that. First of all, we have to take the thousands of MQ Series and WebSphere customers that we've already seeded in the market, and on top of that, we need to sell our foundation extensions, our e-business development tools, our web user experience offering, and our integration middleware. And quite frankly, we also need to team up with Tivoli to sell the Policy Director offerings for WebSphere and MQ Series. And we also need to extend the penetration that we've made with these products from project-based sales into true enterprise licenses. Second, over 45% of the market have yet to make a strategic decision for their e-business infrastructure. It's a fantastic opportunity for us. To these customers, we have to exploit the extension products to help them speed up the delivery of their e-business strategy. And by the way, we can also use these products to differentiate ourselves from our competition and grow the size of the deal. Much of our competition is playing in one space within the platform. We're the only ones who can offer the complete portfolio for e-business. And third, we have to team again. We have to team up with our solution colleagues to leverage e-commerce, B2B, business process management, and portal solutions, which bring revenue in themselves, but they also drag large foundation sales, such as we saw in Siemens in the 4th quarter. And finally, we really have to build a mature partner network, one that provides value-added services around our portfolio. And this is not just key for our revenue in 2001, but it's absolutely critical for the long-term customer satisfaction around WebSphere and MQ Series. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, we can do a better job in influencing the influencers, in particular the global and regional system integrators and web integrators. And we also need to work in a better way with major ISVs like Siebel, SAP, i2, and Ariba. So that's our first goal. Let's move to the second goal. Maurizio already touched on this one, but we really need to stop BEA in 2001. I'm going to assume that some of you have not had the pleasure of competing against BEA, but let me share some personal experience. I think we're dealing with one, if not the most aggressive competition in the industry. They are hungry, they are desperate, and they will do anything to win, particularly when it comes to beating IBM. Now, quite frankly, we don't need to go down to their level. We have a deeper and broader proposition. We have the strength and depth of our development teams. We have a greater service capability. And finally, we have over 25 years' experience in enterprise transaction management. But we do need to be prepared to challenge their lies, and we need to fight. And by the way, we need to enjoy it when we win. And by the way, this is important not just for growing our AIM business. It's also important about for long-term account control. My experience in year 2000 was that for every dollar we sold of WebSphere software, we were able to drive an additional $10 of IBM business in software group revenues, in servers, and in services. It will be absolutely critical that we succeed. My assessment. In 2001, we've reached a very important junction in this market. Our performance this year will determine whether we will be the long-term leader or we'll just be one of the pack. We're well set. We've got a strong set of products. We have a great team. We're making the right development investments. And as you saw from my earlier charts, we have great momentum. BEA are fighting for the future, but we have everything right. With aggression, acting first, acting fast, and being fearless against them, quite frankly, our future is in our own hands. We can do it. So, the future looks good, but Jürgen, I set a challenge to you. Maurizio mentioned it earlier. Quite frankly, our teams can work together in a better way. Every time we sell WebSphere, we can sell DB2. And every time we sell DB2, we can sell WebSphere. So I think you'd agree that challenge is the right one for our team, so we can go out and kill Oracle and BEA together.
David, I think you're right, and we're taking that challenge, and I tell you, we already had the first success in January at BauBG when we closed a large deal together, WebSphere, DB2, and all that stuff in there. So that was the first success, and we need to do that better in 2001. Now, let's start first with our customer pyramid, the integrated aligned accounts, and the territory accounts. I put our 4 priorities around these customer pyramids. Let's start first with the integrated and aligned accounts. We need to continue with our passion to win against Oracle, to win against Informix and the others there. We have dedicated teams in place who will help us to take away more market share from them and win every day against them. Second, we need to get more access to the line of business people. These are the people who have the budget, who will make the decisions where we need to go. We have a great opportunity with our business intelligence solution department that we now really can access these people with more a consultancy approach. Third, Maurizio already mentioned it, the 390 business. We can really leverage with the new DB tools more the 390 platform and fight against BMC and CompuWare and CA. And fourth, it's key for us that we faster team up with our key application vendors, SAP, Siebel, i2, Ariba, and PeopleSoft. They show a big growth in the marketplace, and we can work with them and really pull our products underneath of them. Now, the second part, the territory accounts. This is all about channels. And we have made a strong investment into the ISV space. The ISVs are going to be critical for us also in that space. And we really need to accelerate this momentum with the new DCM organization of Massimo. And Massimo, we're really looking forward to drive that momentum. It will give us the leverage to upsell and also cross-sell with the other colleagues here of my brands. Now, on the marketing side, marketing is key for the momentum in the market space. We need to exploit much more the teleweb capabilities. It gives us an opportunity to create more leads, get better leads out of that, and really close business where we haven't been before. Second, we are going to launch a new set of e-analytics products in 2001. This is a very hot marketplace, growing from 2 billion in 1999 to 6 billion in 2004, based on an IDC survey. We need to keep our momentum in DB2. The branding of DB2 is important. This is really creating the momentum there for us, and it helps us really to influence the market space. And fourth, content management. We need to create more awareness in content management, and I really need to say we have big opportunities together with Tivoli and with Fritz, with Lotus, to really put that together to an integrated solution. Now, finally, most important is our peoples and the skills. We really have to move away from this feature function benchmarking more to a solutions-oriented business. We really need to understand more of our industry, of the business issues, and that's why we drive new business teams, services teams, and drive more industry and solution focus. We had a great success in 2000. We will have another great success in 2001. With all the passion that we have in this audience here, I'm convinced we can do it. Now, Fritz, let's hear from you what you are doing in 2001.
Okay. Thank you, Jürgen. Now let's move to the priorities of Lotus in 2001. And the priorities, they are quite simple. We have to make our plan, and we have to grow double-digit again. And how we want to do that? The main thing is that we keep or maintain our leadership in messaging and collaboration, and that's the left part down on the left side in the graph. This is really our castle. That castle we have to defend against the main competitor, which is Microsoft. And we will defend it, we know that. But to grow double-digit growth, we have to go out of this castle too, and we have to conquer new areas. And we can do that in two ways. First of all, we have an extended offer, so we can use our base. And to work on the base is much more easier than to go for new customers. And we have a huge installed base with 48% market share. So to work on this base, we sell on top all these extended nice offers we have, like wireless, same time, ASP, quick place. And on top of that, we sell the products in the new emerging markets, like e-learning and knowledge management. And that's what we call deepen the use. The other way to go for double-digit growth is that we go for new customers. And the new deployment model of IBM, and we are totally aligned with it, will help us there, because we have noticed that we don't cover all the customers. We also have not enough coverage in the territory, where there is a huge potential for the SMB market. We also can attack now Microsoft customers, competitive customers, even those who have done a strategic decision for Exchange. First of all, because Exchange 2000 is not such a nice product. They have huge problems to migrate from old Exchange versions to the new ones. And second, because the new products we have in knowledge management and e-learning don't rely on the Notes and Domino infrastructure. So they can also run together with Exchange. So that's a clear way to go back to double-digit growth. So that's the first priority. The second priority is clearly to return a significant profit to the IBM company. As you probably know, IBM has invested in the last 5 years a lot of money in Lotus, with the objective that Lotus gains a lot of market share. And we did it. We are the market leader. We achieved our goal, but now the goal is changing. We have to return a significant profit. And there's several ways to do that. One way is we could cut the workforce by half, which we obviously don't want to do it. The second way is to grow 50% in revenue, which is difficult at the moment in our market. So the only way to do it is to align and to integrate with the IBM software group and to work as a team. And that's what we really want to do. That means some changes in reporting lines, changes in that way that we adopt management systems from the IBM software group, processes which are important, and last but not least also adopt the bonus plan, which is a good plan. And we will have some flexibility there because we want to have a smooth transition from the old Lotus plan to the new IBM software group plan. So in summary, that means that we transform Lotus from a more or less independent company to a profitable software group business. But what is important in this transformation is that we maintain and strengthen the brand and that we preserve the Lotus culture, because the brand and the culture was the key for our success in the future. And it will be also the key for our success. It was key and success in the past, and will be key and success for our future. So I want you all to support that transition, which is, of course, also a sensitive subject. So in summary, I can say we will be successful in the year 2001 if, first of all, and these are the critical success factors, we have a successful integration, and second, we have a successful transition from Lotus Notes Domino to the new emerging markets, knowledge management and e-learning. I count on you, I need your support, and I think we will have a great 2001. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Fritz. Let me be very simple. First priority for Tivoli in 2001 is back to the tradition, two-digit growth. We cannot have a different one. In which way? I defined the 2000 a transition year for Tivoli. We discovered we face a changing market, and our customers are moving from the traditional client-server environment to a new business infrastructure, a business infrastructure. They are building application in this new infrastructure, and this infrastructure are becoming day by day more complex, more sophisticated. And more they are complex, more we have the opportunity to sell our management tool. We have to continue to hold our strong position in the enterprise arena, but we have to drive the key 5 Tivoli solutions in the business infrastructure world. And we have to sell security, storage, service delivery management, configuration operation, availability and performance. This is what we have to do. To grow two-digit, we need to become the leader in managing the business infrastructure. No way. In which way? We have now to execute. We are now to fast execute. We have to engage early and often our customer and the market. And we cannot play this game alone. We are the best sell Tivoli team in the world, but our highest priority is to take the advantage in the market to play and to better leverage all the IBM organization. We have to capitalize on the new channel that IBM will open to us. We have the opportunity to sell our solution around all the IBM offering. And this is something that we have to do. No way, alone, we cannot hit our target. Now, we have to better focus together and with IBM the GMB market, and we reallocate our resources. We put our channel organization in the combined IBM software group team, because this is the only way to better play this arena. So let me summarize. Very simple. Two-digit growth, becoming the leader in managing a business infrastructure, fast executing, and leverage better IBM. We know what we have to do. Let's do it, and let's have the 2001, the EMEA Tivoli year.
Thank you. Let me spend 2 minutes to recap. I want to have every you leaving with one key message by brand. If we achieve this goal, we are in the middle of the growth, and I'm sure that we can be successful. So, brand by brand, and I stand behind the brand leaders. So, for AIM, simple. Capture the web infrastructure and stop BA. Simple. And also, I want to launch a challenge to every one of these guys. The challenge for AIM is to try to become bigger than Tivoli in terms of total revenue.
We have it.
Distributed revenue, this is challenge number 1. For data management, Simple. No? What we have to do to win back against Oracle and accelerate the channel momentum. The challenge for data is to beat AIM in terms of revenue. Lotus. Lotus, simple. Drive Lotus in the new markets and become increase profitability. You are profitable. Sorry. My apologies to the Lotus team. Okay, but we can do much more. No, for you is a simple challenge.
Okay.
To stay number one brand in terms of revenue because you are the bigger one. Okay.
Great.
Great. You take that. Last Tivoli is simple. Grow. So restore Tivoli double-digit growth, leverage IBM, and the challenge for Tivoli is to become bigger than Lotus. Simple, okay? Don't you think that this is a winning team? Hmm? Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.